What's up, people? Welcome back to another episode. I guess the question now is, what's next? Alright guys, I bet y'all weren't expecting that from the last video. I just wanted to end it with them taking the building off the property, but like I said, it was a little bit of a shocker to me. I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, I thought that I was still gonna have the shed to house overall. I thought they were gonna try to either one, repair it correctly, or two, go ahead and just give me a brand new building, and giving me a new building was off the table. They would not do that for me. So I made the decision, I think it was my best decision overall, to go ahead and just let them take the building back. They did reimburse me for some of the materials and monthly payments that I made on the building, so I do have to give them credit for that. But overall, like I said, I'm gonna be using a different company if I do decide to go that route. It does look weird out here again, having a nice big open area. It's been very awkward working out here in the yard and having locals drive by real slow, just staring. I know they're wondering where the hell this person's house is, but if anybody stops by, I'll let you know exactly what happened and we'll move forward from here. But there are plenty of options of what we can do out here as far as a house goes. I want to try to make it as simple as possible, not get into a bunch of debt. As most of you guys know, I've been trying to cut out a lot of my debt and got all my credit card and stuff done. Now I don't have to make this payment on this house anymore. That was a big factor in my decision as well. I'm gonna go sit down over here by the fire pit and we're gonna explain how much it actually costs to get a shed to house, and on top of that, trying to build it out. It takes a lot of money. Let's sit down and let's discuss this. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it out there in case you are wondering how much it actually costs to do a shed to house. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. When you're trying to get out of having to build an entire house by yourself or from the ground up, this is an option to go. You will pay. It's quite a bit of money, to be honest. This building itself was $31,000 that y'all saw. That was with multiple upgrades on it. And overall, my payments were extremely high. What they do, like I said, if you don't know how to build everything from the ground up, this would be an option for you. Like I said, you just have to pay, but it was over $1,200 a month for just the building, the shell of the building. And that was over a 5-year period. The way they make you pay these big payments and then over an extended amount of time, and by the time if you try to finish out the 60-month, which is a 5-year plan for it, you're probably going to spend at least double what the building's actually worth, if not triple. And there's a lot of people that will do that. In the past, I've paid them off early, and I just tried to extend it over the most amount of months so the payments be the least amount. But this building was a lot, and that was another thing that factored in. Why would I want to pay $1,200 a month for a shell of a building that is not built correctly and is leaking? And that was a major thing for me. And like I said, I didn't feel like it was going to get fixed appropriately, and they were not offering me a new building, so it kind of made my decision pretty easy. I didn't really want to end the video like I did last time with just the building moving off, but honestly, I'm not 100% sure what I want to do moving forward as far as a house goes. The good thing is I do have plenty of options, whether it be another shed to house with a different company, maybe a small Barndominium, or build a house from the ground up, which is an option. We were gonna do that up there in Oklahoma, but I decided to go ahead and just change my mind and do the shed to house route. And I think my best bet, honestly, is either building a small house from the ground up, just put some piers down, and then build up. That right there would cost me a lot less than doing the shed to house route, not having to pay a big chunk of my money to just a monthly payment, and on top of that, trying to be able to afford to build out a house. It's not cheap. It's just a lot of people, they get the perception with YouTubers that they have a ton of money, and some of them do, some of them don't. I fall under the I don't have a ton of money. You don't see me living on 300 acres up in a mountain building this massive house while trying to say that I'm trying to get out of debt like I've seen other YouTube channels do. And I'm just like, you're spending thousands and thousands of dollars on a huge house, and your channel name is stuff about living simple and stuff like that, and you're building these extravagant houses, getting all this big equipment, buying all sorts of animals and stuff, and just kind of, I don't know, defeats the purpose of, I guess, how the mindset of what a YouTuber was when they first started to where they are now. my channel has grown. I have made more money throughout the years on YouTube, but it's still, I'm not to that point where I can buy some extravagant house. And like I said, I wanted to move, or when I moved down here to Texas, I wanted to just live as simple as possible. And another option I had was, why not just get a camper? Just live in a camper. That crossed my mind, but realistically, it's not a long-term thing. I could do that for a good while. I actually thought about putting another little site back here in the back for either a camper or a tiny house for guests or whatever we decide to do. But as far as the build goes, there are plenty of options on the table, and like I said, I'm trying not to dig myself in a whole bunch of debt. And when they offered me the settlement for the building, I took it, and basically I washed my hands of that build and just gonna start new. And with the little bit of money that I got from them, that will help me out to be able to start something fresh. And honestly, I am leaning towards just building from the ground up. I'm gonna have a lot of help from Dad. I'll have some help from Matt from time to time. Honestly, without my dad helping me out, I probably couldn't do something from the ground up. I'm not educated enough to be able to do every single thing. I can build. I might not be able to build it perfect, but I do have a lot of questions on certain things as far as wiring, plumbing, different things like that. But I do feel confident that we could build something from the ground up for a lot cheaper than what it would have been with this whole tiny house that was finished out, because you're looking at a bare minimum of $31,000 just for the shell of the shed. And then depending on what I was going to put into it, you're probably looking at a, I don't know, $75,000 house when it's said and done, if I made my payments and stuff early. If you went the whole route, the 5 years, you're going to pretty much double your money on that. So the money saved from not having to make payments could go directly into the build. I could just build as I go with my funds and not bury myself in the debt. And that's one of my major concerns with doing everything out here. As far as the property itself, I paid the property off. All the electric stuff has been paid for so far. All we need to do is add a little meter out there on the box. They'll come and turn everything on for us. And then trying to get the water situation going. I did go to the water board meeting here on last Thursday. They only give you 3 minutes to talk. When I tell you guys I went to a board meeting, it was very small. It was 2 tables put together with 6 people there. Actually, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 people there. 3 of them were, one was myself, Mom went, and Jovita went with us. So there was only 5 other people there. I spoke my mind. I had a list of stuff that I wanted to request from them. If you've been following along, you know that I've been having issues with the water. Them not wanting to put a meter over here on my property. They were wanting to put it on Mom and Dad's property, and that's private property. We also have another neighbor that's involved, which would have to be on part of their private property, and that's just not an option. The only other option I had was to be able to bore underneath the road across from right outside of my grandmother's property. There's a water main over there they can hook into and trench over under the road, bore into the road to come over here. Unfortunately, they said that they don't have the funds for that, and I would have to pay out of pocket. I didn't feel that was right, so like I said, I expressed my mind, my thoughts down there at this meeting, and I also said that I was going to be FOIA requesting. It's a Freedom of Information Act. Since they said they didn't have any money or grants or anything, I told them what I was going to do is I was going to request all the records for the water department down here in this area for the last 2 years to see why they don't have money to be able to provide a service for a resident of the town. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I let them know that I was going to FOIA request how many meters they've installed the last couple of years, how many people are actively using their meters versus how many are not paying their bills, which you can request all this information. And also the amount of grants, the amount of money that they've been spending within the last 2 years as well. When I mentioned all that, it kind of raised a few eyebrows with the board members. So I don't know if that's going to light a little fire under them to either one, just go ahead and put the money out for this, give a resident of the town water, or 2, we're going to have to dig in and see what all we can come across and figure out why there's not money for the town to be able to provide water for residents of this town. And I think it's going to happen pretty quick here. Worst case scenario, I have to pay out of pocket to get the water. I think they said they were going to charge $2,200 or $2,300 to be able to just trench or bore underneath one little roadway right in front of my property, and that's it. And they were going to charge me $2,300 or something like that. So I don't have a lot of money like that to be thrown around, and I feel like it should be on the town, the burden of the town to be able to give water to a resident up at least to their property, and then for the property owner to be able to pay the rest of it, which I'd be totally fine with. So that's just some of the stuff that I've been dealing with outside of the actual house itself. I really do, once again, feel like I did the best thing as far as having them void out my contract for me, sending me the money to reimburse me for the materials and months that I've paid on the building. And like I said, the last step right now is to get them to come out and pull these anchors out of the ground. When the crew came by, they got the house. They were trying to undo the bolts and stuff for the anchors, and they couldn't get it undone, so they're under a time constraint, so they just cut all the straps off and left the anchors. So once they get that out, I could try to start reconfiguring a new pad site, figure out if I want to build from the ground up, if so, what size. And I don't want to build too big, and I don't want to get in a lot of debt, so I'm going to try to do it as small as possible. So hopefully that answered a bunch of y'all's questions. I know there was a lot of comments, and I'm not going to lie, I have not read all those comments on the last video. I think the last I looked was almost 800 comments on there. But I will take some time today, go through and look and see if there's any good ideas. But right now I am leaning towards building from the ground up a small house, and if not, a possible small barndominium. Those are my top options right now that I'm going to try to go with. And like I said, once we get these anchors out of the ground, I can go ahead and start doing some pad site work and stuff like that. So anyways, my phone's ringing, of course, right in the middle of a video, so it's actually the shed dealer, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this real quick. Sorry about that. That was actually the shed dealer, the area manager over Texas, and he said he's gonna try to set up a time for them to come out and get the anchors. I know they didn't want them to cut the straps on them because they're gonna have to redo all that stuff on the house, but I just said, basically, I need them out of the ground. He said either one, they can come and remove them, or two, I can keep them in there. And I just said I'd ask for them to come and remove them. That way, if I need to reconfigure the pad site, I'll be able to. So anyways, that's what's been going on. Like I said, I hope I answered all those questions. It's a lot of talking on this video, but I promise you guys, we're going to start building here soon. I'm just going to try to take a little bit of time to think everything through before we get into a huge project and make sure that it's going to be feasible on our end. So anyways, I appreciate you for watching this video, liking and subscribing. I've had a lot of new subscribers here recently. I think I gained, I don't know, maybe 500 subscribers in the last week, which is good for my channel. I don't have a ton, but that's a huge chunk of people adding on. So if you've subscribed because of the shed house, I do apologize, but you still will see a lot of building going on. Right now I'm currently sitting in the fire pit area. We're going to be doing a lot of stone work over here, and then also a man cave area back there. And we got a big idea for a garden and stuff coming up very, very soon here. So anyways, I appreciate you guys once again. Hope you guys enjoy this video, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.